Today's news has been compiled with reports by the Dutch Telegraph and a German paper called motorsporttotal.com. Sometime either early this year or late last year, someone in Red Bull leaked the allegations against Christian Horner to a certain Dutch journalist called Eric van Haren. While the identity of the person within Red Bull who leaked the allegations is shrouded in mystery, a quick search on the journalist's social media reveals he seemed quite close to Verstappen and his father. Hence, this fueled speculation that Verstappen's father leaked the investigation to the press. The fact that Jos Verstappen and Horner are on bad terms didn't help either. According to the timeline provided by the Telegraph, on 2nd of February, they approached Christian Horner with the allegation and asked for his reaction. Horner didn't bother to respond. However, by the next day, his lawyers approached the female staff with a €760,000 settlement. The paper claimed there are documents to prove this, but that money apparently couldn't solve the issue. By 5th of February, Eric van Haren published an explosive article about Horner's internal investigation, but he failed to mention his actual crimes. Later that day, Red Bull were forced to officially respond. They confirmed the investigation and added that they had hired outside lawyers to handle the case. On February 9th, Horner was grilled for 8 hours concerning the allegations. It was reported that the female staff had carefully documented all of Horner's text messages, and the investigators approached him with the files. By February 16th, the same journalist broke a second major story. He said that Horner was accused of sending sexually suggestive texts to a female staff and also mentioned the settlement money. But today we have another worthwhile update on the case. Red Bull had offered Horner a chance to resign. But how did he react? We will discuss all that in this episode. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Welcome to Front Lockout. Ford could refuse to supply Red Bull's engine for 2026. Before we get into the main point of discussion for today, we will talk about some possible fallouts. This update is coming from American engine supplier Ford. Red Bull is currently using an engine from Honda, but that relationship will end in 2025. At the start of last season, Red Bull partnered with Ford as its engine supplier. This commitment is expected to last at least 8 years, with Ford supplying an engine to Red Bull and AlphaTauri when the 2026 regulations kicks in. Ford is actually not new to Formula One. The American giant dominated F1 in the 60s and 70s as an engine manufacturer for Cosworth. They are also F1's third most successful engine maker with 10 constructors' titles and 13 drivers' championships. In fact, the link between Red Bull and Ford is much stronger than you would think. Red Bull entered F1 by buying Jaguar Racing for a symbolic $1. Ford owned Jaguar before they sold it off to Red Bull. Ford has now responded to the Christian Horner situation, and if you read between the lines, you can sense the threat in their message. According to Ford's global director of performance, he said, "As a family company, and a company that holds itself to very high standards of behavior and integrity, we do expect the same from our partners," he told AP Sports. It appears to us, and what we've been told, is that Red Bull is taking the situation very seriously, and of course, they're worried about their brand as well. While he further went on to add that they would wait for the outcome of the investigation, it just shows that Ford will be willing to pull out of the engine supply deal, depending on how the investigation is handled. But we will leave that to you. On to the main topic of the day. More details about the allegations have been revealed, but this time it is not by the Dutch Telegraph. German publication motorsporttotal.com said that Horner was offered an opportunity to get out of the matter without losing face. The plan for this was already drawn. The idea was that Horner would resign as team boss of his own free will, and the official reason could have been health problems. But Horner was said to be furious about this and vowed to fight to clear his name rather than resign. Now, if the call for his resignation was based purely on the gravity of the case, perhaps he would have taken the option. We could infer that the only reason why he refused was because Red Bull itself was trying to force him out. It has widely been discussed that this investigation is part of a larger problem at the team where the CEO feels threatened by Horner's influence and wants him out. However, sources close to Horner denied the offer of voluntary resignation. Agreeing to such would be an admission of guilt, and he can't defend his name if he is out of Red Bull. Horner has also responded by suing the Dutch paper that broke the news. However, it is expected that before an editor proceeds to print an allegation of this magnitude, they must have gotten lawyers' advice. So it remains to be seen how that could play out in court. We will continue to keep you updated. Leave us your thoughts in the comments. This is Front Lockout, signing off.